Well, I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. My brother-in-law half to death, lost $20 on the football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm about the things we do, or the trouble that we get into. Other than a wild hair once in a while, we can't help it, it's just our style. Good old boys, it's all we'll ever be. I got an
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show, live from the Atsenoffer studio, as we are every single morning. Ash, Brent, Commander, all here on a Monday. Good morning to you all. Mark Kurtz, Ricky King, Justin Glass on the podium. Also checking in this morning, Rena Scherer, Heather Stewart, Marina, good morning. P. Strauss, Katina Arterberry, Dana Moore de la Garza. Ladies coming in hot this morning. Linda Chris, Bobby Leister.
Hot ladies coming in too, by the way.
There you go. Marvin Mickers, Mark Zapata, Scott Snow, Greg Garcia, Scott Tomko. Good morning, everybody. Glad you're all here. Michelle Wilson Hawkins checking in. Andrew Alvarez. Chilly Monday morning, but we're glad you're here. We're going to get things warmed up and heated up for you as you start your week, because it's a busy one and lots to get to. So please continue to comment. Give us a call if we can't get to every comment, but we've made our New Year's resolution. No, we've made our New Year's resolution to get all your calls in and or at least get to all the calls, or as many as we can. So we will do that.
361-894-4020. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Dillon Feed. 41 degrees in Victoria, Texas, under cloudy skies, partly cloudy skies, heading to a high today of only 64.
That's it. Tammy Williams checking in.
Caden.
Jerry, good morning.
Son checking in.
Michelle Wilson Hawkins.
Jerry,
coming back from warm Mexico today.
There you go.
64 for the high, in the 40s for the lows. I think it's looking like that for much of the week. I think there's one day where it kind of jumps up a little bit, and that is it. I'm trying to find that little thing that I found. Our New Year's resolution is to get to more phone calls. Texas, number 7 among states whose residents are quitters.
Yeah.
According to a new poll, a study found that 42% of Texans will give up on their New Year's resolutions.
Does it say how far into the year they will make it?
So glad you asked. I'm looking at that.
I don't know. They ask, when did quitting get such a bad rep? Yeah, being a quitter is okay, right?
Depends on what you're quitting. Drugs, alcohol.
Right.
Probably a good thing.
Philandering. Yeah.
January 9th is National Quitter Day, when most people give up their resolutions. Because what do you need? What does studies show? 2 to 3 weeks to establish a habit?
No, 21 days. Anything you can do for 21 days, you're pretty much ingrained in. We've already passed that. Today being the 12th.
But I guess January 9th was National Quitters Day, when most people have given up on their New Year's resolutions. Apparently 42% of Texans quit or break their New Year's resolutions. So there you go. 7th in the nation as a state, collectively. Getting out on New Year's resolutions. I have to make quitter. I quit making New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I don't make it.
I don't either.
Well, the other way to look at that is, why wait until New Year's to right your ship. If you need to be doing something differently in your life, shouldn't you just go ahead and do it? Why do you go, well, I'm going to go ahead and be a derelict until New Year's? Yeah. Gary Schmeckel, congratulations. He says, what a pair of faces to wake up to. Yes, we are dashingly handsome, but I'm proud of, I think it's David. Is that your son? Made lieutenant colonel in the military, and hats off to him. That was a really nice photo you posted.
Yeah.
What are you reading me?
Well, a friend of mine put a quote out there earlier this week. You can
Did
literally
you run this by Cody? Okay.
You can literally just wake up and decide, I'm done being who I've been. You don't need a new year. You don't need a rock bottom. You don't need anyone's permission. Change doesn't require the perfect moment. You're not stuck. You're always one decision away from a different life. That's basically
Absolutely.
when you mentioned
Just
you don't
do
need to
it.
wait for New Year's Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Daniel Bird telling Jerry and Caden that they should be brushing their teeth and getting ready for school. Solid advice from a fine gentleman.
Greg Garcia says, as long as bacon and chocolate exist, New Year's resolutions are doomed to fail. Bacon, not so much a bad thing.
Bacon's good.
Chocolate, if it's dark chocolate and in moderation, it won't destroy your resolutions. There's BJ Nelson checking in. Sherry Jacobs, good morning. Lisa Poole.
Judge
Judge
Zeller.
Crystal Mapp, Micah Patton.
Hi, Crystal Map.
Glad to see you all in this morning. So,
Her dad and I exchanged holiday. Like, I tried to call Chris Mapp, and I said, hey, it's Brent. No big deal. I'm just calling to say hi. And he called back and said something like, hey, it's Chris returning your call. No need to call me back. And that was our way of saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Caden says, we're already at school. Well, put
for
your
you.
phone up. You're breaking the law.
they're probably sitting in the parking lot listening.
There's Jackie Parsons. Let me tell you something. I went down and got some of that. It was called atrazine.
I don't know for what.
I had this Coastal Marsh. His mic's not hot. I had this Coastal Marsh, which is kind of funny.
Now
to me,
it
like
is.
when he's just over there thinking he's witty, and like nobody can hear him except us. Sometimes he's witty, so you gotta give him that opportunity.
I did now. Mike's up. We're good.
Okay, you're good, Cody. You're back. But yeah, right. You're so easily offended. He's been here since like 4:30.
He's a progressive white woman.
Right?
Easily offended.
I'm sorry that Renee Good got run over or got shot by the officer for trying to run over the
We'll
guy.
have final thoughts on her, too.
Yeah, we'll get to her stupidity.
Again.
I mean, in the same breath that it's a tragedy that somebody had to die, I really can't think of anybody better than Renee Good with her meth history and her lesbian wife. Just good night, Renee. What were we talking about? It's
You're
not on the script.
atrazine.
Oh man, I went and saw Jackie, and I had this. It's a pretty little flowering deal, but when you start digging it, it comes up, and it's got a root. And
Like
I mean,
a carrot.
yes, and you need to get rid of it. And boy, I went around and sprayed my yard with it. Did not affect my St. Augustine at all, and completely eliminated that. I mean, in one spraying, I thought I was going to do it like every 45 days.
Nope,
Gone, dead.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathleen Leininger
Lost
in
2
this
dogs
morning.
and a cat too. But no, not really.
Chickens now have nothing to eat. They're starving.
Yeah.
So Renee Good, this is the woman shot by ICE in Minneapolis, and the media continues to paint her as a poet and a good mom.
A victim. She's a victim.
Yeah.
She was a good mom to the one of her like
Yeah.
3 or 4 kids.
Does
she
that make
was
her part of the
allowed to
Dead Poet Society now, I guess?
Yes.
I don't know. Too soon? Not really, I don't think. But here's the thing. What the media won't reveal, and what it's taken independent journalists on Twitter to determine, is the narrative is bunk. 3 kids, custody of 1. Let that lay as it may.
You got to really mess up as a mom to not have custody of your kids.
Yeah.
That's just observable fact.
More or less.
It ain't no
in the eye of the
50-50
courts.
deal.
No.
Tie goes to the mom. That's like baseball. A tie goes to the mom every time. And rightfully so. Kids need their mom.
A rap sheet that seems to be getting longer and longer every time you turn around, including endangering a child. Here's the problem with this woman. No consequences for any of her actions. She's been a few times arrested for getting involved in law enforcement activities. No bond, no bond, no money bond, released on no bond is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Except for the child endangerment. And I'm thinking for a poet who doesn't seem to have any other employment because nobody's ever figured out what she makes or what she's doing, right? Other than that. $50,000 was her bond. That's a pretty hefty bond for probably somebody who's unemployed.
She's a paid protester. She was funded by the left.
That's all she
just
wants.
the way it is.
That's all she was. And the left, they don't want to admit it because then they would have to admit that they are paying and organizing protests, because look how quickly they popped up in New York City the day after this happened on a Saturday.
Caden with a solid, comparison. He says the left says they feel grief for this woman, but they laughed at the death of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
It's very true. Tammy Williams says it's the George Floyd effect. She was such a good person, getting their life together. They asked me the other day, said, if George Floyd was alive today, what would he be doing? I said, passing fake 20s and hitting that pipe. That's what he'd be doing.
He hadn't changed his life in 30
No.
years. He wasn't going to change it because, let's
It's
just
who he
say he
was.
got choked to within, or let's say he was in seconds of dying and didn't, and then came back to life.
He needed Narcan. He didn't need the knee on his throat may have excited him and maybe led to some type of cardiac event. But at the end of the day, he was a criminal.
Who wasn't getting better, wasn't changing his life. Apparently, Tammy or Renee Good's kids are going to survive because apparently there's already a
There's a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe that's raised more money than she would ever. But this was not a good person. This was a person who, for whatever reason, felt that her white guilt meant she had to get involved in law enforcement around the country. It's interesting that, she lived in Colorado before moving to Minnesota. If you think about what was going on in Colorado a year ago or so when she reportedly lived there, ICE raids. Follow the timeline of her living in some of these in some of these other cities. I'm going to bet they line up when ICE raids were going on. Maybe the federal government needs to stop saying we're going to do a bunch of ICE raids in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to do a bunch of ICE raids in New Orleans. We're going to do a bunch of ICE raids in Denver. Stop announcing it, dummies.
Well, this white guilt philosophy is somewhat absurd, but it is an indoctrination and a dumbing down of our populace that's been promoted by the government and promoted by every TV show on the planet. I mean, Ash and I talk often about how that you don't find a strong male role model in any television show anymore. They're always the bumbling cuck idiot. That's who the dad is on the show. The dad is the punchline. That's to assuage the masses who have children out of wedlock, who the dad doesn't stay around. And think about it.
Dad's an emasculated fool.
The people that watch network television could be your working poor, could be your inner city people. And as a result, that's where you have a lot of single parent homes. And I mean, it's a self-perpetuating situation. But at the end of the day, the idea that you're going to feel guilty for being white and then you're going to start making apologies for things that your ancestors did. I mean, didn't do. I don't know. I didn't have.
Or
any
they weren't
slaves.
even your ancestors.
Right.
How did a white woman getting killed by what appeared to be a white ICE agent become a racial issue?
Because she felt bad about, she felt bad for all the criminals that were being deported.
For all we know at the moment, they might have been serving a warrant on a Russian illegal alien because we don't know.
I remember one of the guys that was arrested in Minneapolis, apparently Minneapolis ICE issued a list of people they had arrested. And one of the guys was a Laotian, a guy from Laos,
Yeah.
who had, I don't know, he'd been convicted of what they called strong-arm sodomy of a child. Now, you figure out what that is. But that doesn't sound good. That sounds like a guy that probably ought to be deported,
Yeah.
you know? I don't know.
Not ought to be. Should be.
Should be. Yeah. It needs to go. I don't get it. I don't
Somebody like
understand what
that doesn't
happened.
just turn into somebody like that because they came to the shores of America either. This is somebody that I'm going to guess Laos willingly let out of their country because they were probably doing this to kids in Laos too. Good morning, State Representative Louderback.
Hello,
Checking
Sheriff
in.
Louderback. So, Cody, you did a little research. Who can you tell me who? I'm just asking this because now this person's throwing themselves into the public arena. Who is Decatur Joseph?
Oh, I know Decatur Joseph. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
What does Decatur Joseph do?
He was a financial planner and was part of the Lodestone Group with Claude Jacobs. I think he's now
Okay.
semi-retired.
Okay, so well then, congrats to him. He and Lee Keeling and Casey Cullen are going to make up the first. What are you going to call that group? They are they're like a review board, if you will, for the collective bargaining or the collective bargaining part of the fire department. I think I've gotten that correctly stated that that's what they're doing.
On the
You've
city
got a
side.
review board, 3 people who listen to the fire department. What were the 2 things? Collective bargaining and civil servant. So they're the civil servant side. They're going to listen to that. Cody might be able to find some info on that. But Casey Cullen, very active. I would call him like a
I
municipal.
find it's interesting that they put 2 attorneys on that board.
Well, I think
One wouldn't have sufficed.
well, maybe so. You're correct, but you've got to find people that are willing to do it and
Well,
people that
there's
are
that.
arguably qualified to do it.
People have the time to do it.
And I'm speaking out of experience. I know Casey Cullen to be a very fine young man and a very fine attorney, but he's an attorney with and for I think the city and the county. He does some things for them, and so it is interesting.
Are we going to get billed for their services?
Well, and it is interesting that I'll be curious how there's. I mean, I applaud him for getting into that arena, but it's interesting how there may be conflicts of interest. I mean, I don't know. He's listening to your grievance, but he also works for your boss. And I mean, that's interesting. But that's something Casey would certainly address. He's a very upfront.
I'm guessing there would
solid
be
guy.
no conflict of interest or they wouldn't have been appointed.
In theory.
Yeah, so 18 people applied, 12 were eligible, 4 ineligible due to residency. Not sure what that means. Maybe they don't live
They
here.
didn't live here.
And 2 excluded due to conflicts.
There you go.
So-
Well, I certainly don't have a conflict with Casey Cullen or Lee Keeling being involved. It's just interesting that you do have 3 people who I think, and I'm paraphrasing, but Jesus Garza basically said, we need people on this first board, if you will, who have some semblance of experience and expertise, and as opposed to the common man just sitting in there.
Jennifer Abrams says very difficult to find 3 qualified candidates willing to do the work because you've got to meet 1 to 2 meetings a month or more initially and can never have held any elected office and need to have had some background in employment.
There you go.
Ron Reno wasn't available. He's never been elected.
Right? Ba-dum-bum. There you have it. Well, it is interesting. Timmy Williams says, I'm curious of their salaries. I mean, I might have gone to someone like Shannon Martin, who was a fireman, but he's been elected to an office, so he therefore would be ineligible. Good idea, though. But I don't know. I always find it interesting when we, and I guess it's a compliment to my implied status of being an attorney. We don't just have a common man sitting on this board. This makes sense. Them fellas ain't getting paid enough. Instead, you've got what by definition is somewhat of a, they're liberals in general. They are.
Tammy Williams asked if they're getting salaries. They're not. There is no
No,
income.
it's just a
but,
volunteer deal.
but I'm wondering if they
Get free fire care.
bill for their time.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
No, and I've
Being
got zero
facetious.
problem with
No.
it. I was just pointing out that those are the 3 individuals.
I just think it's interesting. Of 3, you have 2 attorneys. That's my
it's-
observation.
It certainly doesn't represent the community, But at the same time,
Was it supposed to? I don't know.
I'm certain that those are three very qualified individuals. And I did not know Mr. Joseph.
No. Decatur's a good man.
Good. Well, then there you have it.
And I think he leans a little fiscally conservative. So, there we go. James Oliver checking in. Funky Trey Molina, good morning.
I saw it. I got a
Kelly
note from
Fry,
Funky this
I did
morning.
too. Told us to have a good show.
Quit telling us what to do.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Rayburn, yes, thank you for the info.
Appreciate that.
She's always got good input. She knows a lot about a lot. She's kind of like Junior,
Should we take a break?
less painful. Yeah, let's take a quick break, folks. Cheswick Furniture inviting you to come down. It's time. New year. How about a new you? Nothing says more about your health than your rest. Come on down. Tempur-Pedic bedding, Stearns and Foster. I mean, they've got it. Sealy Posturepedic. They will deliver it today. Set it up. You ever wonder why your mattress gets heavier as you move? That's because of all of your dry, dead skin
Yeah,
cells.
and mites that fall off.
Yes, and just get rid of that old funky mattress.
Probably holding mold if the kids ever peed on it.
Oh, yeah, or if you peed on it, if you're my age. Get in there and let Cheswick
Let's
Furniture.
go, Grandpa.
Cheswick and Love can change your home. You know, let Cheswick and Love make your house a home. Reach out and see why you just always do better at Cheswick. Paravita Wellness, the Vita Cafe. Now's a great time to get in and let Paravita help you get healthy. You don't have to make a resolution. You just have to change a few things, make your life better.
And Erica Briggs can help you change your diet so you're eating better, getting the nutrients you need. And it's amazing once you start eating right, how many pounds you can drop just by making simple changes to your diet. You don't even have to get more active. As long as you start eating properly, you'll become more.
You have to update your
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, White Trash Services and White Trash Site Services. We talk about trash collection all the time, and they're still donating $25, $50, and $100 based on your 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year commitment to a new contract. But understand that if you have an unsightly old building on your property and you want to get it torn down and hauled off, White Trash Site Services is the team to do that for you. Went Services for all your electrical needs. Went for your newest, most complete turnkey generator. Went is there for you. Call Went today. Let them come out and give you a great estimate on a wonderful Generac, Kohler, Cummins, every kind of generator, on the planet.
Yeah, like a dozen of them or something. That they
Give
can
them
get
a
you?
call
Yeah.
and let them see the one that meets.
I'll quit
your
trying to
needs.
mess around with something here that I shouldn't. Even
Also telling you that Atzenhofer, their new tagline, Ash, is a South Texas tradition for over 100 years.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Well, because
Since
since
1926.
1926.
Yep.
So Fed Chair Jerome Powell,
Under some heat.
under a little bit of heat, a criminal investigation has been opened into him
I
by the
personally
Department
don't
of
like it,
Justice.
but I'll go with it. I don't like it, but I'll go with it. This is politics. This is the Trump administration. If Powell came in tomorrow and dropped interest rates by 0.5 point, he would be right. That it would all be
They'd
dropped.
they'd probably stop it.
And I hate that. If Powell's a criminal, then arrest him. Okay? I just don't believe that Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is a criminal. I don't think he has any reason to be a criminal. I mean, this is, right here. He says those are pretexts. He continued. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. Powell also said, I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. Donald Trump is convinced, as am I, and I believe you, that lowering interest rates would not send us into a free-for-all of inflation. We are being held back a little bit by the Fed. But I'm going to go ahead and defer to Jerome Powell as knowing a little bit more about the effects of an increase in demand than me. Trump is saying you've got to he wants more than anything, Donald Trump wants the economy thriving when it becomes time for the midterm elections. That's what he wants. He wants interest rates to come down now so that new housing starts, go through the roof, and the economy.
And existing home sales will boom.
And so that the economy appears to be booming so he can say, look what we've done for you in a year and a half. That's what he wants. It's politics. I find it unfortunate that Jerome Powell is paying the price for that.
I mean, apparently Trump is mad that the renovation of the Fed, the building where the Fed sits, is now up to $2.5 billion.
Wow.
The budget for the renovation, when approved in 2017, was $1.9 billion, according to the Epoch Times. How the heck couldn't they just build a new building for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Keep following this closely, like with one eye on the fact that Trump wants interest rates to come down. That's really the main deal here. You don't have to follow politics very closely to understand what's going on. And by the way, Powell's term expires in May.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, Trump wants rates to come down between now and May.
Because the primaries are coming up, right?
Absolutely.
The primary season just around the corner. And this is, I agree. I think this is pure politics. Linda Chris says Powell's a liberal Democrat. I mean, if that were the case, would interest rates have come down recently? I don't know.
Wow. How about this? Just a quick heads up. Our own city council member, Ricky De La Garza, Rafael De La Garza III, the self-appointed.
Roll that R a little better, will you?
Rafael De La Garza III, self-appointed mayor and fire marshal, fire chief of Tortilla Flats. Ricky De La Garza celebrating 50 years today as a licensed paramedic. January the 12th, 1976, Ricky was licensed. There's going to be a celebration of that at Colony Creek on Sunday, January the 25th, with a special presentation happening at 4:30. We'll talk about that. I'm not sure that is completely open to the public, but I cordially invite all of our listeners, especially those of you in the No Bull Network, to come into town, go to Colony Creek, and let Ricky De La Garza buy you a drink. I think that's a very fitting thing to happen.
By the way, Jerome Powell, I think very, very fitting. By the way, Jerome Powell was nominated by President Trump in 2018 to become the chair of the Federal Reserve. Kathleen Leininger says, can't we look at the financial damage that he caused as he made political decisions to keep interest rates unreasonably high? Were they political decisions?
I don't know.
If we're gonna go there, do we retroactively hold every Fed chair that we didn't agree with the policy personally accountable?
I have felt like,
my first home in 2000, I paid 7% interest on it. That's where interest rates were. Yeah. Even through all this, I don't think we got that high. We were at 6 3/4 maybe on 30-year notes.
Yeah, but we had gotten to the point following the 2008 crash. We'd gotten to the point where, mortgages were 2%, 3%.
Yeah, don't remind me.
The money's so free that people bought more house because it is uncanny.
Which was part of the problem.
But at one point on your...
Was that Ben Bernanke during that garbage?
But, when you establish what a house is going to cost, and let's say that it's, $300,000, and all of a sudden and let's just say that principal and interest on that is $1,510. You go to $350,000 and your principal and interest only goes to like $1,620. It goes up like not much over $50,000. But when you raise the interest rate by 2 points, all of a sudden you're like, payment. Wow. Your payment goes up. So there's no doubt that the interest rates are used to manipulate the market in such a fashion as to often slow it down. To the right word is to retard the market. That is what it's there for. So I don't know. I think personally that this economy could sustain a little bit lower interest rate.
I agree.
But the government's put so much cash in.
Well, but there's the problem, and that is the problem. The government has caused the problems that we see in the form of the government spending. You and I have highlighted this before. I think we've looked. It's between $3 and $4 trillion added to this economy since COVID by the federal government.
Yeah, they just kept thinking we'll pump money into the economy. That's going to help everybody. You think the people in the No Bull Network are really caring about what we're talking about? You
I
think
really
somebody
do.
out in Atascosa County cares about the Fed's interest rate?
Well,
right
you know
now?
what? When your interest rate on your combine is 6% instead of 3%, sure they do.
It adds up. It adds up. What else you got? You got a whole plethora
There's a lot of stuff up there.
of information.
I just think that's interesting. I think it's pressure to get Powell to.
Here's Bobby Leister calling.
I think it's pressure to get Powell out of there.
Give me the blue dot. And he's gone in May anyway. That's what's interesting. Bob, you there?
Am I caller 5? Am I the winner?
Yeah, you've got the free tickets to last week's concert. That's awesome.
Oh man, I'm glad. Hey, y'all were talking about New Year's resolutions. My New Year's resolution is not to make any and just try to be better at everything, and just
Right?
that's it.
I think
But
it's a
other than
better way
that,
to
guys,
go.
man, have a great Monday morning, man. Keep
Hey,
going.
we appreciate you. How's your family? Everybody good?
Man, everybody's great, man. It's all good. If I'd win the lottery, man, it'd be great.
Wouldn't that be saying? How many people could you help if you won the lottery?
Well, I'd have to start out with you two guys, and that's going to take most of it.
We appreciate it, but I tell people all the time, hey, money can't buy happiness, but I'm like, Lord,
Let me try.
I'm already happy. Let me try to help some other people who are dumb enough to think that money buys happiness.
Exactly. Y'all have a
Absolutely.
great Monday,
Hey,
guys.
God bless you. Thanks, Bobby. Caden asked if we're on to sports yet.
Not yet.
You don't want to bounce over?
Nah, not yet.
Now, hang on, Caden. We're going to bounce over there in a
We'll
minute.
get there.
I think the 49ers won.
It was an interesting opening.
Both
weekend.
teams
Playoffs.
losing all kinds of personnel. We'll talk about that in a minute.
15 million flu cases already being reported by the federal government. They're saying it's now a record high in 30 years.
Absolutely no COVID cases
No,
reported.
of
but
course
that's
not.
Interesting.
Of course not. The Golden Globes. I took one for the show yesterday and watched the Golden Globes.
I didn't even know it was on. It was on network television.
Yeah,
Was it on
CBS.
CBS? Okay, I don't
Entertainment
even know how to
Tonight.
find that.
Entertainment Tonight did the red carpet stuff, and it was
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
terrible.
I know the jingle.
Two people I've never heard of trying to be funny and make it more hip and not try to cut down on the glamorous factor. And
Right.
I mean, isn't that the whole point?
Is the
Dressing up
glamour.
as the glamour, and it wasn't good. A whole bunch of shows that I've never watched won,
Yeah. I
and a
don't
whole
watch-
bunch of actors that I've never heard of won. So there you go. That's
There you
basically sums up the Golden Globes for all of you. What's her name? Nikki Glazer?
Yeah, she's very
She was
funny.
pretty funny. Her monologue was pretty good. She made fun at CBS News for faking news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Called it CBS. So, I thought, but
Is that-
she was pretty good.
Is that
So-
Kathleen?
Yeah.
Hi, Junior. Yeah, Kathleen, back to Chairman Powell says he was responsive to Biden, tweaking the numbers to his benefit, but dug his heels in when Trump justifiably asked for
How do you
reductions.
tweak the numbers, though? I mean, her interest rates hadn't moved in the last several years, so I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't know what Biden was up to.
I don't know either. But I think the Fed has a little too much power.
Yeah. And Linda Christa, I agree with you 100%. She says all the financial markers are high enough to sustain a lowering of the
Let's
interest
go somewhere with that, because all of a sudden the president's got pressure or putting pressure on credit card companies to lower interest rates.
as they should. As they should.
I
Don't
mean-
give somebody credit. I realize that everybody is a worthy risk, and the interest rate is reflective of the risk you present. But you shouldn't have a credit card. People that are paying 28 to 30% interest on their credit card shouldn't have a credit card.
Probably not. No. Although that's a lot of people, because that's basically where the default is. But I'm just going to go somewhere here real quick. I've got a list of credit card offers and different things that have come across the email. Listen to this one. This is Reach Financial. Don't know anything about them. They're willing to offer you a personal loan similar to a credit card at 27.19% is the APR.
So you send them $1,000, and then you have $1,000 on your card. Is that how it
I don't
works?
know. It's a personal loan of up to
Oh,
whatever
okay.
amount. It's like a revolving. I
You
guess
can
kind of like
never
revolving
catch
credit.
up, right? I mean,
No.
The only reason to get that is if you need, bless Bob Constantine's heart, a kidney. That's the only reason to get that loan.
But remember when the federal government got mad at check cashing places because they were charging like 40 and 50 and 60%? Our credit card companies have slowly filled that gap. I mean, they're loan sharking. I don't think the loan sharks in Vegas charge 30%.
No, people
They
still
charge the
default on
kneecap.
credit cards without much consequence. That's true.
You know, and
I do think Joe Biden's administration did allow.
they
the
were
credit
getting
card
there
holders
under
to
the
go.
Trump administration. This isn't an administration thing. This is Congress, and now they're worried about Dick Durbin and his bill. Worried about your credit card, your cash back and your benefits and all the things you accumulate, your miles
wanna
and
tax
points
you
and
for
all
that?
that. Yeah, stuff like that. It's ridiculous. But there's the funny thing too. Oh, I'm getting 2% back on all these purchases. You're paying 27% interest on that credit card. It really isn't amounting to anything.
Yeah, the only way that works is if you simply use it like, bless her heart, my mother does, her Discover card. She'll buy her groceries, say on her Discover card, and then pay the balance, maybe even that day. She'll
Yeah.
go home and cut them a check.
But she's one of the rarities
That's
because
very
what's the average? The average American consumer is carrying, I think, $8,000 in credit card debt these days.
I'm
So,
pushing that number up.
so I mean,
I'm dragging rich guys like you into that middle ground.
but I just, Discover it. Here's one right now: 1 to 5% cash back, but the interest rate it ranges between 17.5% and 26.5%.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've said for years that, let's ignore student debt. Let's just pay off everybody's credit cards. You want to make a difference in this country? Just do that.
City Advantage Globe MasterCard. This is an American Airlines miles card. You accumulate American Airline miles. Not going to help you flying out of Victoria Regional, but the APR ranges from 19.5 to 29.5%.
Yeah. Derek Jameson says he has something in common with my mother, who's old enough to be your grandmother, DJ, but my mother.
And James Kurth, pay it off every month. You're good.
Yeah.
But therein lies the problem. Americans are not paying it off every month because we're at record credit card debt levels. If we really wanted to help the economy, put the pressure on these credit card companies to reduce their, and I'm not saying, but then again, they take the risk.
Well, they do take the risk, but again, are you really going to give anybody, if in a competitive market, I guess if you can get 40%, good for you, but nobody really wants to give that guy credit.
I saw
Very
one that the other day, I saw it online. It's a secured credit card. So it's a debit. You have to give them money.
Yeah. And then they
$300,
charge-
$500, and they're charging you 30% interest on that sucker.
So you give them $1,000 to have $1,000 limit on your card, then you go spend $300 on something at Best Buy, and the next month you owe them $322.
You don't pay, yeah.
Yeah. For your money. It's your money.
It's your money
It's really just a prepaid debit card.
with interest.
Right.
Let that sink in.
Unbelievable.
Or you could just go Dave Ramsey and live within your means.
Yeah. Easy for Dave. He's a millionaire.
He wasn't.
He became.
He was broke three times.
Yeah, he was. And
Then he
got
wasn't
broke.
because he did what he preaches against doing now. He leveraged himself to the hilt.
Smart guy. He is a smart guy.
Right.
He was a millionaire when he was 24 years old.
And then he lost it all. Should we take another break?
Oh,
No,
very
yeah, I
quickly,
guess
because I
so.
want to talk sports.
I do too.
wanna
We have
get
lots
into
to get to.
sports. I
Okay.
do. Allen's Record Service, 578-6300. Let Allen come and help you if you need to go to. Allen is your guy, whether you're in Refugio, Goliad, Gonzales, Victoria, all around this region. Allen's Record Service. Veracruz Restaurant, get in today and get happy. Veracruz, the best Tex-Mex in town, whether you want queso, salsa, guacamole. They have the very best homemade, beautiful chips.
Yeah, they're homemade.
It's great. Homemade tortillas.
I still think it's the best hot sauce in any restaurant in town.
It is. There's no doubt about it. And it varies day to day. Some days it's hotter than others, but it's always fresh and always good. USA Concrete Coatings inviting you to clear up and shine up that drab slab, whether you want to sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it, whatever you want done to your slab. They can do. If you're building a new home and you want to stain that concrete and then put down accent rugs instead of trying to carpet it all, I promise it's much more cost effective to let Charlie Garcia and his team come out and help you. That's 578 home. Let them help you.
White Trash Services helping volunteer fire departments throughout their service region, whether you're if you're a new customer, you can sign up month to month and they'll give $25 to the volunteer fire department of your choice. If you want to sign up for 2-year service, not only do you win because they'll lock your rate in for 2 years, which protects you against any rate increases. If the Fed decides to raise interest rates and the cost of doing business goes up, you won't pay more, and they'll give $50 to the volunteer fire department of your choice. Same deal for 3 years. Lock in your price, and they'll give $100 to the volunteer fire department
How
of your
about
choice.
that, Cody? 2 plugs for White Trash in one day without even a mention of Brand Us.
Not
And
a
how about Brand Us?
Not a
though?
mention.
If you need, and you do, I've seen your website. It stinks. Reach out to Commander Cody and let him help you spruce up and brighten up your web presence. He can help you monetize things on the internet. He can help you with formulas and analytics and all the algorithms and all the stuff that you and I just simply don't understand. It's
This is
the world.
This is the best one you've ever done.
It's the world where the world's friendliest nerd lives.
And
is there for you.
If you're watching on our screen right now on YouTube or Facebook, go to thesportsadvocate.com, sign up. Mike Foreman is still busy providing the best local sports coverage for the entire
Absolutely.
Crossroads. And Mike does it better than anyone I've ever come across. And you can be exclusive and get in the know as soon as there is a story.
He put one out this morning.
And
These high school kids work hard, and nobody covers it better than Mike Foreman, and nobody's covering it at the local paper. So reach out to thesportsadvocate.com. It's $9.99 a month, and by the way,
Sign up for a year.
the money goes to Mike. So please go sign up, and let's help this veteran, really qualified, wonderful journalist keep doing what he does.
So where do you want to start? NFL playoffs? Because Texans and Steelers tonight.
Should be a great game. I think we both want the Texans to win, right?
Yeah, they've got a better record. It's the Steelers, I think, the home team because they won their division. But I think the Texans win it.
There you go.
I do.
Patrick Strauss says, I hope Brand Us didn't have anything to do with the site to buy Roger Krager tickets. It's horrible. He didn't.
I didn't.
He didn't. But you can go to WadeandCarter.com and go to the news section, and we can link you there, which might be better.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the VISD Foundation site that's selling the tickets, or if it might be a link to somebody Roger Krager does business with. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, it looked like it was a third party link,
Okay.
but I don't know
StubHub
who's
or somebody.
using it, right? Like
Bob Constantine's back in Victoria. Welcome home,
Yep.
brother.
Glad to see you're back.
Glad you're good.
So what do you think? Texans win tonight?
I'm going to go with that ceremonial love for the Texans. Yes, I think they win tonight.
What do you make of the other games that took place on Saturday? The Rams squeaked by the Panthers. I thought that was
That
going
was
to
a
be
great ball
cakewalk.
game,
It
though.
was.
Great ball game. You thought the Rams would win handily?
I did because
Panthers
Carolina
were-
came in 8-9
Yeah.
in a bad division.
What about the game
And
with
the Packers and the Bears. Packers, I thought were going to walk away with it when Bears scored 25 in the fourth to win it.
Yeah, the Packers were ahead well. What's the other
Two
team?
touchdowns with 4 minutes, some change
The
left.
black helmet with it. Jaguars. Who did the Jaguars play?
The Bills. The Bills won that one at the end.
Yeah. 27-24.
Exciting
something like that.
game. I picked the Bills. The 49ers beat the Eagles in Philly. Didn't think that was possible.
I didn't think that was going to happen either. They did lose Kittle. Their
Yeah,
tight
that's
end
gonna
got
hurt.
hurt. That's going to
They won't win the next round because of that.
That hurts. I mean, you lose your big tight end. Did you see where the Diggs kid from the Cowboys that got cut was already picked up and on a team? I did not know that was possible when the playoffs had already started.
That's why the Cowboys cut him when they could, so he could be picked up, so they didn't have to pay him any money
There you
down
go.
the stretch. And then the
It's good
Patriots.
riddance.
Patriots beat the Chargers 16-3. The Chargers, always that team that seemed to be like they're better than they really are,
Right.
and they just can't seem to win a playoff game.
Well,
And
Dan Fouts still slinging it, 74 years old. Old Danny.
if only they had a better running back than Chuck Muncie.
Yes, Chuck. Old Chuck. Was he 29?
I think so.
26.
So
You say 26, I always think of Wilbur Marshall. Remember that guy, Wilbur?
So the Bills will play the Broncos, 49ers, and the Seahawks, and then the Rams and the Bears and the Patriots will play the winner of tonight's Monday Night Football playoff game.
People seem to think Denver's really a contender this season.
Yeah, Sean Payton's got them turned around, that's for sure.
Caden's fired up. His boy. Did you see where there was a like a jet sweep and the receiver threw a touchdown pass to McCaffrey for the Niners? It was nice. I mean, he was very athletic.
Boy, did that trade haunt them in that game yet, or haunt the Panthers in the playoffs, right? Since
Yeah.
they no longer have McCaffrey. How much
Yeah,
better
no
would
doubt.
they have been?
Oh,
So what do you make of Indiana's clown stomping of Oregon?
well, the game started out kind of weird. Like the very first play from scrimmage, the Oregon Ducks dropped back, threw a ball into the left flat, and it was a pick six. And so just like that, it was 7-0. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that's not really indicative of anything. They jumped a route. But everything
It was
that
indicative of everything.
Oh my goodness, Ash! Everything that could go wrong for the Ducks did. Fumbles and turnovers, and every time Fernando Mendoza and his mates, who were average 24 years of age, they all capitalized on it. Did you know they really do? Their average age on the team in Indiana is like 23, and the average age on the Green Bay Packers is 25. Think about that. And
The
the
portal.
um,
And Mendoza's now appealing the NCAA's decision to not give him a sixth year of eligibility.
yeah, that's crazy town. I look at, and we were talking this weekend with several people about the draft and who people are. I think Fernando Mendoza will have a decent Colt McCoy-ish type NFL career. He'll be a game management quarterback on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, he won the Heisman, but let's say that he's an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. His upside is for him to be an 8 forever. Whereas I look at even a kid like Shedeur Sanders, of whom I'm not a big fan, and I go, man, his upside is incredible if he were to get a hold of, if a guy like the coach from the Texans could kind of put him under his
D'Amico
wing,
Ryans?
D'Amico Ryans, and say, hey, look, man, you're in the NFL now. This is a real job. Don't be a clown. If he had the right attitude, he would be terrible in Dallas, for example. But his dad was named this weekend the new head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. I'm telling you that if you fire John Harbaugh and you bring in Deion Sanders, you did not upgrade your coaching room. You did not. You did not. Harbaugh went to 12 playoffs, won a Super Bowl. I'm telling you, Deion Sanders is not an upgrade. And
You want Fernando Mendoza, who goes 17-20 and 5 touchdowns in the biggest game of his life? Or do you want the upside of Oregon's quarterback? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think in the NFL, the 17 of 20 reminds me it's very pedestrian.
Trent
you know?
Dilfer-ish.
Yeah, it's very pedestrian. He's not going to kill you, but he's not going to make you a winner.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan Williams.
There
it
you
was,
go.
It was
Good morning,
Shambles
son.
that
How
was
are
trying
you?
to get the extra year.
Hey, I'm good.
Turn your
I
radio
wanted
down
to
if it's
say,
up. Tell us what you think.
They fired John Harbaugh because he was getting offers from all over the NFL. It wasn't just because he was doing a bad season. He
So-
was offered from a bunch of different.
Yeah, but he has to get released by the other team,
Right. So
by
you
their team.
fire him because other people want him? I mean, that seems like a reason to give him a raise.
Keep him.
No, they just decided they didn't want to deal with him anymore, so they
Fair
fired
enough.
him. But he has like 40 different offers already.
Do we look for him to get a job in the NFL next season?
Most likely, yes, sir.
Okay, good. How are you this morning, son?
I'm doing good.
Good, good. So your 49ers win yesterday. Did they pay a big price by losing Kittle?
I would say maybe, but the Niners always have multiple good backups. Like last season, we lost Kittle halfway through, and his rookie behind him stepped up and scored a game-winning touchdown a few times. So I think we should be fine for the Seattle Seahawks this week.
There you go. I agree. Seattle's probably. I don't think they're one of the better teams left in the playoffs. I think the Niners are okay in that regard. So you're thinking that. So do you think there's a plan for the Ravens to try to go get? No, they've got Lamar. What's his name? Don't they?
Jackson, yeah.
Yeah, they don't need Shedeur.
And I don't
Yeah,
and I don't think they're going to hire Dion as their coach either.
They did,
No,
right?
they didn't.
Caden?
Yes, they got Dion.
Dion is their coach.
Really?
Yeah, he was
I
hired
missed that
as their head coach. Well, that's why I'm here. That's why Wade and
Appreciate
that's why it's Wade and Carter. That's why we exist. All right, Caden, go have a great day. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, sir.
Great job. That's my son checking in. I like that. But
I don't see any confirmation that he's the head
yeah,
coach
well,
yet.
that's because that's tomorrow's news today. No, I was told that was the case. That was the deal. If it's not, it would, it is interesting, folks, how people purport things now on the internet as like breaking news, and then you check it out 2 days later and find out that you're wrong.
He got fired in the same way that Mike Foreman got fired. Apparently, the Ravens owner called him on the phone as he was driving home from practice
Yeah, it's
or
true.
from the practice facility and told him he was done. Guy'd only been there, 18 years, something like
Total
that?
lack of respect. I think 14
Yeah,
years.
something like that.
Total lack of respect for a consummate professional. I think John Harbaugh was a coach you were proud to see on the sidelines.
The Giants apparently looking at him. They're also said to
Oh,
be
he'll coach.
probably looking at Mike McCarthy as well. Yeah. Thanks for the clarification on Mendoza, Jonathan. I was thinking it was Chambliss that I was confused with. So, but still, I mean, another six years in the NCAA is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
What do you think about the Patriots? Do they have a chance to go all the way?
I think that after watching that win yesterday, yeah, they're a better team than I thought. I thought they locked out because they play in a terrible division. But
I'll trust Jonathan Williams. He knows things. He said Dion is not in consideration for the Ravens job. Okay, then I'll retract my statement made in ignorance. I was
I don't think any NFL team is going to take a chance on Deion Sanders.
I would
I think he's best suited as a college football
at Jackson
coach.
State. I mean, Colorado, boy, the dew is off of that rose. They're no big deal again.
Well, I think he just has to show that he can stay competitive in the portal market. I mean, who would have thought the Cal Bears would have benefited with, I think, the fourth or fifth most number of transfer portal students, football players? I mean, these are legit players from other programs going to Cal all because they've got Oregon's former assistant coach.
You know, that Signetti, the coach for the Indiana Hoosiers, seems to have it figured out. He's got a bunch of 3-star players with 4 and 5 years of college experience. They come in, they're smart enough to, most of them have graduated. You know, they're not worried about school. And they come in and they look around and go, we've got an all-star team here. Let's go win.
Yeah.
And every kid, the Mendoza kid, has been perfect as the coagulant, as the leader of that squad, to say, we're here for one reason. We're here to win every football game. And they've done that so far. They're like 15-0. And then you turn around and, you know, what happens after that happens after that. I think Signetti was with Nick Saban for a while. He's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. He's not a kid. He's in his early
Seems
60s.
to be a good coach.
I think he's a great coach.
And seems to be. Here's the problem, and he runs counterculture to where college football is and Division I basketball is. He develops relationships with his players.
Yep.
He's not transactional. And that's the difference. And that's the difference between Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, very transactional.
Yeah.
Once and Boise State last year, when you know they had the Genty kid as the running back, and all those guys, I think 90% of their team had been together for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
They're having success running counterculture to the transfer portal. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Oklahoma State, where they fired what's his name
Mullet guy.
mullet guy, Gundy?
Gundy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Cale Gundy.
Mike.
Mike Gundy.
And they hired the coach from North Texas, and he took all of his players with them. North Texas couldn't even secure a spot in the playoffs when they had a chance.
Right.
I can't imagine that former North Texas players are going to make that big a difference
They're not.
at Oklahoma State.
The Signetti guy, he comes from, and Jonathan Williams, thank you. He's in his second year at Indiana where he went like, I don't know, I'm making this up, 11-3 last year, and he's 15-0 this year. And before that, he was at James Madison where he also excelled. He is he almost comes off to me as like a little odd, but he's very, very intense. And he gets it. BJ Nelson says, don't you think it's odd that you can play college ball and not be a student? You still have to be a student, but they enroll them in graduate classes and
let's
and most kids don't graduate in 4 years anyway.
no. And here's the thing though, it's we're talking Division I on this, and Tommy King says 3,800 college players into the portal.
Yeah. So many will be disappointed.
The reality is, so few of these kids are actually transferring somewhere. You hear about the ones that do, but
Did
there's
they go
so
back
many.
to their original
Most
school?
of the schools say no. Once you enter, you move on. Although I think a kid at Washington just said, "Well, you know what? I thought about it. I entered. Now I'm pulling it back." Might have been the quarterback at Washington. I don't remember because it's the Huskies, and I'm a Cougar. We don't care. But anyway,
Right.
he's one of the few. Most schools are they're starting to be a little more cautious on that because they're worried about being sued.
Right, sure.
But
Oh, it's
they
big business.
basically said if you're going to jump in the portal, we're moving on because we need to be certain we've got a kid who wants to be here and not somebody with 1 foot out the water or 1 toe in the water and a foot out the door because you want to think you can go get $10,000 more somewhere else.
Well, that's
So-
what now has surfaced is what happened to the Parker Livingston kid at Texas is that he wanted more money. Texas said, here's what we're willing to pay you. So he said, fine, I'll go to OU, which is great because we just this weekend picked up this Cam Coleman kid who was the #1 athlete in the portal. And he
for more money.
Yeah, for more money. No doubt. We paid him a lot. But we paid commensurate with talent, right? We paid him what he is
Where they
perceived to
Stone
be
really
worth.
hadn't shown much. So
Yeah.
yeah. PJ, the portal and the NIL needs some governance and changes. Yeah, and you know what? Here's my take on this with the NCAA. They did not want to deal with this. The NCAA, college football presidents, didn't want to deal with this. Mark Emmert was the president of the NCAA, former college president at the University of Washington and other places. And college football, and now you're hearing this talk, college football wants to go its own way and maybe become a subset of the NCAA.
At the NFL?
Kind of in between, but still college sports, but not governed by the NCAA the way they are.
Right.
They tried this 12, 15 years ago, and the NCAA said no because what college football, which people don't realize, are kind of a wholly owned subsidiary, and they make all the money off the bowl games and the TV and the conferences. It's an interesting partnership where the NCAA is basically the governing model and the legislative model. While the college football powers that be wanted to take it and said, okay, we're willing to do this. We're willing to pay you, but you have to maintain the governance. We want you to still be the judge and the jury on all the infractions and everything like that. And the NCAA said, no, they're heading there now, folks.
Do you see a time when the top 64 teams, the 4 super conferences of 16 teams, basically defect and become a subsidiary, literally like AAA baseball for the NFL?
I've been saying this for a long time that that's what's going to happen.
And doesn't that make sense? But here's what I like. I like the idea.
Because the NFL will end up irrelevant if you can pay a college kid 5 times more than he can make in the NFL.
So if you're going to set it up where instead of having conferences, you have 64 teams. We call it 64 teams. Does it make sense then to send Oregon back to the West Coast to play with the other teams that are out there? You dissolve the Big Ten. You have Division 1, 2, 3, and 4, East, West, North, and South, whatever you want to call it, and you divide it up. And then every year, let's say the bottom 2 teams in each, there's almost like
relegated?
a play-in. there's almost like a play-in, right? If you're I'm picking one,
Missouri Directional State.
and by the way, you've been dominating. You're the national. It's kind of like the Corn Ferry Tour meets the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
You win the
Like English Premier League and
but you win the Division II, and all of a sudden you get to replace, Mississippi in or whoever, Arkansas in the South Zone for that 2-year stretch.
it'd be interesting. I think it would be very. I like the idea. I don't think it'll happen because there's too much money involved. Although there's money in the Premier League as well. But here's what and I've been saying this. What I really think will happen is football will become its own entity, and I think the conferences may stay the way they are in names because there's name recognition with those conferences. But I think what will happen is in all the other sports, it makes football is its own animal. They charter planes. They don't miss a lot of class time. But it makes no sense for Stanford water polo to go play Miami in Miami as part of the ACC conference.
No,
right?
it's dumb.
And
it's very expensive on a sport that doesn't cash flow.
And they lose a bunch of class time and all that. What I think will happen is the non-football sports will end up going back to almost their original conferences or very similar, and football will end up becoming its own entity, and the other sports will then be more regionally based like conferences were originally intended.
Derek Jameson says the Big Ten and SEC won't allow what I propose, but guess what? If it's brought to you by NBC, ESPN, Goodyear, and Mercedes-Benz, they might.
Yeah, they don't want Purdue out.
No.
And South Dakota State in.
No, they don't. But can you imagine what a badge that would be? The Fighting Texas Aggies have been part of the South Zone since its inception, which 100 years from now might actually mean something. Still without a championship. Folks, we wish you nothing but the best. It's a Monday. Go win Monday. You can't win the week without winning Monday. Caden, thanks for chiming in. Derek Jameson, good to see you, brother. And all of you folks, have a great day. Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.